Radio is scripted now. We just come up with it. We don't use computers. We don't rehearse. We're going to talk about this next. We're going to talk about them. We're going to talk about the Bulls. And then we're going to have Brad Biggs on. And then we're going to have all this. No. If you don't know what you're going to talk about in the top of your head before a show, you shouldn't be in the business. I don't know what you got. I feel like Vince Vaughn in a couple's retreat. The Sharks are circling. Old school, baby.
You're listening to the Mike North Advantage, and it begins right now.
That's right. The Mike North Advantage starts right now. My name is Aldo Gandia, Mike's wingman, and there he is. Mike North, how are you, my friend?
Top of the world, ma. Top of the world.
You are a happy man today, aren't you?
Well, I told you, it's one of the top 5 days of my life, to be honest with you. The first, of course, being I was born. The second is I met my lovely wife, BB. The third was finally getting out of 7th grade after the second year. The fourth, getting out of the Army. And fifth, Trubisky, the proposed boss, signing with probably the most original and sound organization in pro football history that don't make mistakes, especially at quarterback. At least over the last 50, 60 years, they got pretty good scouts. They're savvy. They got Flores in the mix now. They seem to take the unwanted and turn them into the wanted. Mm-hmm. I remember when Ben Roethlisberger was going to be a bust. So I'm very happy for Mitch Trubisky. I'm sad for Bear fans who a lot won't still admit that the inevitable has happened. You know, I'm going to be 70 years old next September.
You? Holy cow. How's that happen?
Well, it went fast, but there's a reason I'm still around, because I'm right most of the time. And
did you say white or right?
Well, that too. I'm clear. Mick Jagger, did he have hits at 69?
Oh, yes.
I don't think so. Well, maybe.
No, he didn't. I thought maybe he did, but
well,
maybe.
Not of any of no. Maybe a couple. Who knows?
Okay.
They're mostly a touring band. Tony Bennett's got to reunite with singers he doesn't know in separate studios to make a duets album. You know, all the greats. But I mean, seriously, Aldo, my phone hasn't rang once. You'd think everybody that had panned Trubisky in the national and local media would be looking for me to steer them in the right direction. But most people will still be in denial. The next hurdle Mitch has got to do now is go to the playoffs with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's going to be a starter. I couldn't be happier for him. The Bears are going to be a mess for the next 3-4 years. We can trace all the history. Aldo and I have talked about this. Now, I will say this. There are people now starting to realize what happened. The propaganda. Yeah, propaganda's been in the news a lot lately. Propaganda of the anti-Mitch media, which was the whole Bear media. I mean, all you have to do is go back. I read Brad Biggs today from 2020. Here, you go and read any Bear writer, and they got something negative for the most part to say about Mitch. That doesn't mean they were always negative.
Right.
But you go back, and that's who people are reading, people are listening to. Okay? Here's what I'm going to tell you. Eldo will tell you this because he's not a liar. Me and him have handshake stuff. We don't play that game. That's right. Where's my wallet? Wait a minute. So anyway, you ask Eldo. Ask Jesse Rogers. Ask Fred Hubner. Ask Dan Jiggets. Ask Carmen DeFalco. Ask anyone at AM 1000. Anybody at the Score. I'm consistent. I stay on message. I never once, and Eldo will say, got off the Mitch Trubisky bandwagon, if you want to call it, which was a lonely place. Now today there'll be people justifying, oh, the Steelers, he's a bridge. No, he's not. He's the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers when we were told he was a bust. It was a literal impossibility that he was a bust, and I did tell Aldo this. Why didn't he start? I kept hearing. Why isn't he a starter? Because he's not stupid like Sam Darnold and Teddy Bridgewater, and he got to pick and choose. And now he's the quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Just an unmitigated disaster, and not a whole lot of bear chatter today because they can't, Aldo, because you know what? If Atlanta had picked him up, if another organization like the Jets had picked him up, you know what I'm saying? Then you could say, well, you know what, the losers, even if the Giants had picked him up. But it's the Pittsburgh Steelers, folks. So you know what? It's a good day for me because you know what? I'm not invited to the baptism. Wasn't invited to the wedding. I said this last week.
Yeah, what's going on with that? I don't believe
I don't even
that.
know how to get a hold of the guy. I follow him on Twitter like a schoolgirl following the Beatles. I can't get a response out of him. And boy, I was there for that.
Is this
You
the
say
fifth
hi to the
Beatle?
girls, they go, shut up. We're listening to the English guys.
Mike, you said that the next hurdle Mitch Trubisky has is to get into the playoffs. I offer this to you. The next hurdle he has is to become the starter.
Well, he's going to be the starter because I remember the GM said Mason Rudolph was going to be the star, and they won. And Ryan Clark on ESPN just went into a tirade saying we deserve better, and now they got better. I think what happened and what I'm sensing in New York, Aldo, is that Dabo, the Buffalo Bills offensive coordinator, wanted Mitch badly. And they were in the Derby, that we do know, but the condition was from other people that it's got to be a quarterback competition. And Mitch said, are you kidding me? That's not, Mitch, you know, people are talking about his $7 million. That's a raise. He sat on his ass last year. Now he's got to go out and prove himself. There's going to be another big contract coming because if he leads them to the playoffs, Aldo, they're tearing up that one. He'll have 1 year deal left. They'll have to tear it up. He's got to go out and prove himself, and I'm fine with that.
Now, let me challenge you again with this.
Why do I have to get challenged? Why aren't I challenging everybody? All you guys are going to keep challenging me. Look, he was acquitted. Mitch is acquitted. Why am I? Are you kidding me? If the shoe fits or whatever it was, you got to acquit. Enough.
We're in the appellate court
You guys
now.
to convince me what you didn't see that wanted you to have the mess we have on our hands in Bear Kingdom right now.
Here are the other quarterbacks in the AFC North. Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, and Baker Mayfield. Who is the better quarterback of the four if Trubisky is the starter?
Well, I got to go with Burrow right now, and then I'd go with Mitch and then the other two. I don't care what Lamar Jackson. I said he's never going to win a Super Bowl because I think Mitch had the right combination of things. That's why I loved him with the Bears. He didn't, and I see Ryan Tannehill lead teams and other guys who I've compared him with. You know, getting into the comparison business, if you're just going to look at it, Mitch as a quarterback, he might be 14th, 15th. But if you're going to look at him as a winner who's going to turn over the ball less and everything else, you got to put him up there. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers know their football. Mike Tomlin and Mitch, I like the fact Mitch chose to be a starter in a tough league. Aaron Rodgers didn't want to go to Denver. He'll stay in Green Bay where it's safe. Mitch says, I'd rather them compete for the Giants, PU, play for the Steelers as a starter. So it's going to be great. He's following, and here, let me just say this. He's not following the Hall of Famer, Ben Roethlisberger. He's following that guy last year who looked like he couldn't play at Margate Park in the men's touch football league and still got it done with the Steeler hierarchy.
Come on, you can't say that Lamar Jackson is not better than Mitch Trubisky. Come on. Come on.
I love Lamar Jackson. I just said he'd never win a Super Bowl. I think Mitch can win a Super Bowl with Pittsburgh. Don't forget, Baltimore lost 2 games in a row with Lamar Jackson because they went for it on 4th down, didn't make it. I mean, we could play the games. I don't like the stat thing. I like the wins. I don't need a flashy quarterback. Rex Grossman took the Bears to the Super Bowl. I know, it was the defense, but Rex Grossman got there. So it is possible to even make it with a guy like him. And we talked about Trent Dilfer. We talked about other guys, right? You believe that?
Yes, I believe
we went to the Super Bowl with Rex Grossman. That's
I didn't
still
believe it at the time.
Whew, that was tough. How good was Lovey?
Outstanding.
Yeah. Listen, I know there's not a whole lot to talk about now because this was my cherry on the Sunday. People go, Mike, how do you do it? How do you keep doing it? I just go opposite of all the other goofs. That's all I do. He's never going to make it. He's going to make it. He's going to suck. He's not going to suck. That's all I do. I just wait to see who the usual suck. There are guys still in the media that predicted I wouldn't make it 30 years ago. And they're still saying, well, this guy's not going to make it. That guy's not going to make it. I know, and we all know who they are. You know what? When somebody says today, I wonder if Mike's talking about me, about being against Trubisky. Yes. To everybody, look in the mirror. Yes. And I just want to say this. I'm looking for officers of the Trubisky Army. I got 2 guys. I've talked to Cap, David Kaplan, about this before. Cap was with Trubisky almost the whole way, but he did have some faltering moments in 2020.
He did.
That being said, he might be an officer. And then Barstool Carl. Barstool Carl. He does a great job. Mitch, and he comes up with the videos and everything else. He started to turn a little bit too. But don't worry. Don't worry. We will revet those 2 gentlemen, and they will probably be part of the Trubisky Army. Now, the question I'm going to ask my esteemed friend. They said we wouldn't last a season together. They said we wouldn't last 10 podcasts together. What are we going on, about 4 years? I don't know. Since Trubisky started with the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to look you right in the eye.
Okay.
Do you want to be an officer in the Trubisky Army?
Can I get back to you on that? Can I get back to you?
We cannot have men that are doubting the abilities of a Mitch Trubisky. I don't think you've ever been fully vetted in with Mitch, but I don't think Aldo Gandia has ever been vetted out completely on Mitch, like 96% of the bar room. Okay? So, I mean, I'm going to have a party of everybody that wants to be on the bandwagon. It's going to be in the closet with 2 or 3 chairs and a half a table. Hey, should I get off? I can't get off now, else. He's going to make the playoffs. I don't know what's the over-under.
I haven't seen the over-under, but let me mention this real quick. Adam,
let's take the over.
Let's take the over. Okay. Adam, our good buddy, called it. And back in October, he said Mitch to the Steelers. Never thought Mitch was the problem with Chicago. Adam Shaw.
Well, you know what? I think he's looking to enlist. I really do. I think you're in, Adam. I never thought he was either. But this is an organization. Now, I think who signed them is important. I think the amount of years is great. You know how many 5-year contracts I've seen for quarterbacks who couldn't play dead after 2 years?
Yeah.
And people were bitching and moaning. Mm-hmm. I love a guy that says, look, if you want to give, they could have haggled for an extra year. You know what Mitch said? You want me to start? You're going to give me the starting job on the Pittsburgh Steelers with all these pieces. I'll take that. I'll take my chances. That's guts in that division. That is guts in that conference. And I that's why I love the guy. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be, here's what it will be fun to root for 2 teams. It really will.
Jay Sanders has accurately detected that I have a Mitch Trubisky jersey back there.
Yeah, but you know, Aldo just, you know, he's a TV guy. Who's the new boss? Where's he at? I gotta bring him some
right.
coffee. I mean, seriously. I mean, we've been in the media. We've been there in the good times when the bosses loved us, and boy, we've been there in the bad times when there was a new boss that says, "I'm not sure about him." You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, that don't matter. I mean,
does he like donuts? I got donuts for him.
I'm going to tell everybody this, and I know that Mitch cut off any communication after 219 with the McCaskies and everybody else after that nonsense, and nobody backed them up when Nagy wouldn't meet with them. But I think if I put a lie detector to Ryan Poles right now, who would you rather have for the next 2 years, Fields or Trubisky? I'd be interested in the answer because he's not a big fan, Elds, I'm telling you. And I don't know how long at least Justin will have, but it's good to see. Now, they picked up a defensive tackle yesterday who looks pretty good. But I think he only got a 1-year deal too, right? Mike. No.
Jay Sanders's Mike has a
There's always that one. You know, for years, we had Rocky Marciano. You guys got Cade McNown. I get it.
Oh, my
favorite. I told you guys last week.
You did.
It's going to be a jamboree. And I want to thank the one man in America, JT the Brit, out there in Las Vegas, who put out a tweet yesterday. And I know all my great friends in the media, every one of them, loved it. Nobody in the Chicago media knows more about talent than Mike North does in sports. Period. End of story. The great talk show host. You won't see a whole lot of that today. I'm looking for a high five. I can't get that. You know, I went to shake my wife's hand today. She pulled back a little bit.
Well, here's maybe
you know what? I'm going to just keep striving and being wrong. Because you know what? If I would have been... Look, Beebe should be the GM. I would just say, here's what I do, here's what I wouldn't do. I wouldn't have signed Cutler. Okay? I wouldn't have signed Wannstedt. Okay? I would not have drafted Fields. I would have drafted somebody else. There's a million things I wouldn't have done. Now, I would have made a couple mistakes. You're damn right. I would have signed Curtis Enos like they did. It was a mistake. I would have signed Cade McNown. It was a mistake. But they all agreed with me. It's when I don't agree with them, it usually goes my way. Why is that? This is the cherry on the sundae. This is like recording a hit when you're like in the twilight of your years.
Yeah.
So it's like giving the speech of your life. You know what I mean? In front of a packed audience. Not one stutter, not one slur. Like that. No.
I love this. Mike, about 20 minutes after the announcement that Mitch Trubisky had signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers, this came out over social media. The odds actually got worse for the Steelers to make it to the Super Bowls. It went from 55-1 to 70-1. Do you care to comment on the folks over in Vegas?
Yeah, I'm going to go there if I can and put $100 down.
Nice.
If I win, I win. What do I win? 7,000? I'll take Mitch, but that's going to drop. That's going to drop. Things are going to happen. Divisions are going to change. You got some quarterbacks not done. But that's the media. Once again, the national media. I mean, I can't believe I didn't get a call from Get Up. You know, Dan Orlovsky. Where's Big Dan? Huh?
Excuse me.
Where's all the Sam Darnold tree huggers? Where are they? And you know who should know better than anybody, Aldo? If I may say. Greenberg. Mike Greenberg knows. I know more about the game than his whole panel. So if he reads that I'm for somebody, why would you be against him? Mm-hmm. Oh, but Sam Darnold was going to get a new location in Carolina and lead this team. I mean, come on. I mean, you got to look at the talent. Don't look at the team around it all the time. I could see Darnold couldn't play. And yet the New York media, my good friend Mike Lombardi, does a lot of right things. He said with me, I said on the show with them, with Dave Ross, Trubisky's going to be a hell of a quarterback. And you know what he said? I wouldn't take him on a discount. Yet he wanted Sam Darnold to play for the 49ers.
That's right. That is true.
So, I mean, come on. So now Mitch has everything going for him, but it's up to him now.
Yes, it is.
But, I mean, if he makes the playoffs next year and the Bears don't. Mm-hmm. See, you know what keeps debates going? Mm-hmm. You haven't replaced the last guy. You haven't replaced the last guy, but you're trying to make people replace the last guy, like LeBron James. They've been trying since Aldo and I were, well, in our mid-40s. They've been trying to make LeBron better than Jordan forever.
Yep.
They've been trying to make comparisons to every big star in history, whether it was Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain. Mm-hmm. Everybody's got an angle. Here's what I do know. 2018 for Mitch Trubisky was a great year. Nagy, who I'm happy to hear today, Paulie Howard and Mitch Moss, saying, hey, you know what, he's better than Rudolph, and, you know, they got him at the right years, and, you know, they were anti-Trubisky. But now they're starting to wake up to the fact that Mason Rudolph wasn't going to get it done, and Trubisky can maybe get it done. But there's always comparisons. And Justin Fields, is he going to have the year Mitch had in 2018? I don't think so. Not because of him alone. Defense, receivers, line, and him. It's going to be a bleak 4 years. And then he's going to probably be ruined because he's going to probably be on his third offensive coordinator within another year and a half or 2 years because things won't work out and they'll have to get somebody else to help the offense because they're not going to get rid of the coach. That's all I'm telling everybody. I'm speaking from experience here. 60 years of experience of watching this team. That's all. And this organization, period. That's it.
Do you think that Ben Roethlisberger will be a distant memory to the Pittsburgh Steelers fans after Mitch Trubisky's first year with the team? In other words, can he exceed Roethlisberger's production over the last 2-3 years when clearly he wasn't Big Ben anymore?
I think he better. He better. I expect him to. I don't know what the over-under is going to be, Al. I'm anxious to see what the over-under is going to be for Pittsburgh. If it's like 8.
Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, I don't know if they have it up yet. Mm-hmm. If it's going to be 8, 9, 10, I will take the over. And I'll take the 70-1 for them to go to the Super Bowl. That's, I mean, just on a lark alone, put $10 down, you win 700. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, people will continue to doubt him. And if you continue to doubt Mitch, you're going to go down the same rabbit hole that everybody in Chicago, except maybe 20% of the Bear fans and maybe 2% of the media, didn't go down. Everybody else went in that rabbit hole and then they plugged it up with dirt. Period.
Not the odds are not out, but I'm putting the odds at over under at 6.5.
Oh my God! Well,
because of the division. The division.
I'm taking the over, baby. I saw did you see their schedule? Go to their schedule. You know, me and Jiggs used to play the 1-loss game. Mm-hmm. Yeah, remember that? It was the schedule. Let's go over the 2022 Pittsburgh Steelers schedule, and you just read them off, and I'll go, and I'll mark them down here on my pad. This is an education, folks. This is how the game is played. This is why I still play the hits. Here we go. Me and I. Aldo's like Don Kirshner. You know what I mean? He's like Don Kirshner. He's giving Burton Cummings one last shot. You know what I mean?
You're going way back, man.
From the guess who, the lead guy.
Don Kirshner, the
laughing. That's what I was doing last night. Laughing. Laughing. I was laughing. All right, let's go over the schedule.
So they have 2 games against each divisional opponent. So the Baltimore Ravens.
Are they in order?
No, because the schedule hasn't been released yet.
All right, let's go over those. Cleveland 1-1.
Okay, 1-1 Cleveland. Ravens
1-1.
Ooh, man. I had you down for 2-0 against the Browns.
No, we got to be fair here, Els. I can't be like the Bear fans. We got to be fair. We got to be objective.
Okay, so 0-2 versus the Bengals.
No, 1-1.
Oh my God! Jeez.
What, you don't think that Pittsburgh can beat the Bengals? I think history suggests otherwise. And Burrow, he's one more knee injury, baby. Don't worry about it. 1-1.
One of the things about the Bengals that they did yesterday is they signed 2 offensive linemen. That was the Achilles heel of this team, is protecting that quarterback, and they're on their way to doing that.
Well, you know what? God bless them. They spent some money, and I'm happy. I like Joe Burrow. I love the fact that I got an AFC team to root for now, and I never thought it would be the Steelers.
My brother's a huge Steelers fan. I called him.
You want? Can I tell you something?
What
number is Mitch going to wear? You think he can't wear 12 because of Bradshaw?
It's got to be 10.
He can't wear Big Ben's number.
Isn't it 10?
Yeah, I'd go out with number 1, just like Fields has got. Then we see.
Oh, look at you.
Such a troublemaker, agitator.
Okay, at Atlanta Falcons.
Win.
1-0 Atlanta. At Carolina Panthers.
Win. They're shopping Christian McCaffrey. Win.
Yeah, that is true. At Miami Dolphins.
God, win.
Whoa.
Hey, they signed. They got a starter that can play now.
Yep.
Who else?
At Pittsburgh, New England Patriots.
They lose that one. Upset.
Ooh, at home, wow. Jets at Pittsburgh.
Let's win. Who's playing for him? Chad Pennington?
The Saints at Pittsburgh.
Oh, Jameis Winston?
They don't have a quarterback. They don't have
Deshaun Watson? Win.
Okay.
Let's go.
Tampa Bay at Pittsburgh.
Loss.
At Indianapolis Colts. Tough one.
Loss.
Yep. At Philadelphia Eagles.
Win. That's going to be a tough game, though.
Yep. And then the final one, the Raiders at Pittsburgh.
Oh, win. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 7. Yeah, I like that. What did they win last year? 9?
I think it was 9, and they snuck into the playoffs. Yes.
Yeah, they had another one. I think now that they got a quarterback that can elude the rush, throw on the run, we'll have a different play caller. We'll have people behind that have his back. That he's won with another organization, and the fact that Josh Allen said whoever gets him's gonna, and this was 3 weeks ago, get one of the best quarterback athletes around, and this was Josh Allen. So I think 10 wins is possible. That's what I'll be rooting for. I will take the over because I don't believe Vegas will make it 10. I think they'll make it 8.5 or 9. So we'll see what happens there.
Okay. Somebody wants to know what weed are you smoking?
It's a Cheech and Chong blend now, and
those guys should brand marijuana. That thing would sell.
I think they do, don't they?
Do they? I don't know.
You know,
I
get stuff. A guy walks by and says, "How you doing?" That's it. No, I just look out the window, and I'm paranoid. And I look out the window hoping it doesn't snow. That's me. This is what one of the happiest days of my professional life.
Yeah, I noticed
to
that.
Fight for a man. Does that? I don't know. Aldo knows this. If you're a street guy, I'm starting to tear up a little. If you're a street guy, and you know, then you know what it's like to stick with somebody against all odds. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you come out okay. Sometimes you don't, but you never waver because then nobody trusts you. And Aldo can look. I could look Aldo in the eye and say, I never wavered on Mitch Trubisky, and I never will. I think Pittsburgh got a hell of a deal. When you see what they're paying everybody else, Aldo, guys you never heard of at positions that don't deserve it, that they got this guy for $7 million apiece, and the Bears are paying their 2 quarterbacks like what, 20 for the year? That tells you all you need to know about this organization. And they had a coach that sabotaged them. Poor Allen Robinson. 200 catches And they know it. He's going to get big money anyway. They know what happened last year, don't you think?
Yeah,
they
absolutely.
know what happened last year.
Absolutely. They sure do.
They know it wasn't Allen Robinson. They know that Allen Robinson. You know what some Bear fan said to me today? I'm taking everybody apart. I am the original gangster, Herney. I'm taking everybody apart limb from limb. You know what they tried to say? Well, he never hit wide receivers that were open. Allen Robinson had 200 receptions until last year when they got rid of Mitch. And some other guy says, Aldo. Some other guy says he averages 8 yards a reception when he throws the ball. Allen Robinson averaged 12. And it only takes 10 yards for a first down. So shut up about knowing the game of football. You're going against me. You're not. You're with Babe Ruth. You're trying to tell the Babe how to hit a fungo. Knock off the nonsense. Thank God I got AM 1000. My good friend Carmen, where I can bring this out every Friday, every Saturday morning, every Friday night on podcast. Thank God I got Eldo. Smartest thing I ever did. Sign up with this guy. Barroom. Because people have me on record on Mitch Trubisky. There's no doubters out there. There's nobody can say, Mike, you remember when he abandoned Mitch? No, I don't. When was that? So I just think that Allen Robinson, as somebody suggested it there, he signs with Pittsburgh and they need a receiver.
Yep.
That's gold. Mm-hmm. Go get him. He's fine. I doubted him. I was wrong. I've said it. See, I'm one of the few. See, here's what I do know today. Aldo knows this. If they would have signed Mitch Trubisky on a team that had a good starter and he got $4 million, I'm getting barbecued today and deservedly so. I am getting barbecued today, but you can't barbecue the top chef. You can't. You can shoot a flamethrower at me. I don't need this dusty suit. I've had flame shot at me. I'm still here. It's time to look at the people that tell you the BS and keep them in your mind when you read about them or listen to them.
This is awesome. Are you okay?
It's 4 years of hell. You gotta remember, I took a lot of punches. I took a ton. Aldo knows.
That's right.
Once in the studio, he said, "You okay?" Yeah, but forget about the drive. It's all these people are so negative towards Mitch.
And sometimes I go, Mike, go down, and he looks at me and says, "Shut up," and he keeps smiling.
Here's what I tell everybody in my business, and you know, I have a game I play with the wife where I make a quote from a movie of 5 words or less. And you got to guess what the movie is. Well, we know what they are because anybody who plays the 5-word quote movie better know their stuff. I might go a few more words. All I have to say is this. You never got me down, Ray. You never got me down. Period. Jake LaMotta.
Yep. Raging Bull.
I remember. I said, Jake, he never got you down. He was on my show. He go, Jake, he never got you down. Jake LaMotta went, huh? What? You know, he didn't get you down, but maybe you should have gone down.
Yes. You might be able to understand my question.
I mean, same with Ali. Ali would not go down, and if he would have gone down a couple times, especially at the end of his career with Trevor Burbick and I mean Larry Holmes tortured him. I mean, if he would have just gone, but he couldn't do it. He's the heart of a champion.
Outstanding stuff. All right, I got to ask you about the Khalil Mack trade. He is now gone for a 2nd-round pick and a 6th-rounder next season. You agree with the deal or not?
No, I wish we still had him and Trubisky. I think this was a retool job. They abandoned ship because they don't like the roster now. But this was a winning roster. You just can't get rid of the lead quarterback and then have an injury that happened to Khalil Mack 1 year. This is what I'm talking about, folks. This is what gets under my skin. Khalil Mack, oh, he's injured all the time. No, he played 15, 16 games every year. He was triple teamed. Could he have had better games? Yeah. But don't tell me he's only worth a 2 and a 4. Don't insult me. Don't lowball me. Don't talk below me. If you think, but here's what saved the Bears. It's the usual refrain, if you will. You're going to pick up his whole salary? Because usually if a player's gone, half gone, what happens is another team will take on half of his salary, and the team that's getting rid of him will help subsidize his salary. Okay? But you know what the LA Chargers said? We want a 2 and a 4 and you to pick up the salary, his whole salary. And you know what they said? Okay. And that's it. And he's going to be on that team with Bosa. This is the guy they needed. Yeah. I think Mitch Trubisky and Khalil Mack are in the playoffs next year. And I think they were two leaders that, because of the head coach and the GM, abandoned ship too early.
Mike, it was a 2 and a 6 round draft pick, which for a Super Bowl contending team, that's basically a 7th rounder because it's going to be one of the last picks of the round. It's awful.
Yeah, it's a bad deal. I mean, you know what? You stay with your guy. And here's another thing. People are going to go, I was a businessman before I got into the media business, and I became even a bigger businessman because I had the outwit the nitwits. Not all of them, but some of them. Mm-hmm. And here's what I would have done if I was the McCaskies. I would have gone to Khalil Mack and said, and I know this has happened with him before, but I would have gone, you're 31. How do you feel? I feel good. I'm ready to go. Do you want to redo your contract? Do you want to defer money? Do you want to help us bring in a couple more players for you? Because if they do that, they still save money. They got some cap room because Tom Brady's done it. Aaron Rodgers, I don't think will do it because Aaron Rodgers is for Aaron Rodgers. But I find it comical. Devontae Adams has to fight for his life now. While Aaron Rodgers, who does Aaron Rodgers think he's going to throw to? Me? You know what I mean? So I think that they could have reworked it. I don't think the Bears were far away. What are they going to do with Eddie Jackson? What are they going to do with Rokon? Are they going to keep Robert Quinn, who had one good year, one bad year? Or are they going to try to get rid of him at the trade deadline? How many of these guys are worth something? I mean, they did sign to one guy, but I think if you keep Trubisky and that, I think you have a shot. But I think now, I mean, it's a 4-year, it's the 70s. It's going to be the 70s, folks, and just look at the 70s. Look, and even Walter Payton, the later teams, 77, 78, 79. Aldo knows. I don't know. It's like the Titanic. You know what I mean? That's what the 70s were. Somebody says the tragedies of life. The Bears are one of the top 10 of all time in the 70s. During my early manhood, watching them, who became eventual friends of mine, just lose it and lose all the time. 69, I saw them go 1-13, but we loved them because they were our guys. But they didn't get the job done. They did. Every team needs a quarterback. That's why I don't know if Justin Fields is going to develop, but it's not going to be this year, especially when Mooney is going to be your leading receiver. It's easy to be the second or third guy, Elds.
Yep.
Let's see what happens when he's the first guy. And I'm not going to say he can't do it because I admire guys like him that come out of nowhere, period.
Our good friend from Detroit, Don Burr, says that you don't like change. Is that true, Mike?
Well, if change is good, I'll change. If change is bad, I won't. You know, for instance, Don could move from Detroit, but he still lives there. So I don't understand that. My point is, and they got rid. Hey, was change good with Matthew Stafford gone, Don? Huh? How was that change? How was that? Huh?
Mike, before we get out of here, I got to ask you a couple of other things. Baseball is back, and I know as a professional gambler, you were probably thinking, if there's no baseball this summer, what the hell am I going to do? So you got to be happy that they finally reached the deal, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know what, Aldo? We could stay as long as you like. You know that. I love you, but I'll tell you this. I got my ass kicked in golf yesterday. So,
Oh, no.
you know, that didn't work out, but I've had 3 winning weeks. I was going to probably concentrate on the NBA and golf. You got March Madness coming up. I don't know who's going to win. I don't make out brackets anymore. Okay. You know, brackets are, I go individual games, you know. But I will tell you this. Baseball being back is a good thing. And I think that the baseball players and the owners were tone deaf. I think they found out what it was all about with the Ukraine and everything else going on. I think that I said this on the show, that they were tone deaf about this whole situation. And I think they felt it when they were getting social media hits about, you know, Max Scherzer's making $40 million a year. Garrett Cole. Those are your poster guys. You know, here's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
I have the bottom rung guys walk with one of those guys. And I have the bottom rung guys wearing their worst clothes, you know, driving up in used cars, even though it's not true. The average guy makes about $2.5 million, you know, but you don't show up with Max Scherzer and Garrett Cole and go, this sucks. You know what I mean? You don't. My God. I mean, I made a lot of money, and I invested my money wisely because of my wife, and you know, and I still got a lot of that money, and I let it grow. What do these guys do? I mean, like somebody said the other day, a lot of these guys go to the strip clubs and drop $60,000 a night.
Boy.
Why don't they feed 2,500 families in their neighborhood? You know,
Well,
instead of that. So
they probably fed those strippers for life for the $60,000.
strippers. God, America's wildest profession, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Joe, even though it's not. My name's Amber. After the traffic light.
Oh, all right. And then I don't know when.
I mean, really, who has a baptismal name of Tiffany?
Or Dallas.
Oh, I'm going to hear from Tiffany people now.
Oh yeah.
I think I love Tiffany. Hey, Tiffany, I seen them all. Debbie Gibson, huh? Come on, before Brittany, Tiffany, and Debbie Gibson.
Mike, I don't know when we're going to be on.
Iceberg, man. I'm an iceberg now. I'm done. I'm the iceberg that floats by and tells the ship, I can't hurt you.
I don't know.
You know who Bear fans are? The ones that fight to the end on Trubisky? They're the fiddle players on the Titanic. Remember the guys?
Sure.
Remember the guys that were saying, one more? No, not one more. I'd hit him over the head, take the fiddle, turn it into a little rowboat. Okay? And then I'd take the other guy's tux and make it a sail. Okay? And I'd watch Jack try to get on the door with the girlfriend while she was blowing a whistle saying, I don't hear anybody. You know? I mean, come on. My phone's going. Hey, wait. Maybe this is Get Up. Hold on. Get Up.
They want you on the show, huh?
No.
Oh.
But I'll tell you that. I mean, really. Oh, let's play one more song. Are you guys out of your minds? We're going down in 10 minutes. Give me a fiddle. No. We're going to play Claire de Lune. What? Come on.
Outstanding. Mike, I don't know when we're
Hold on for a minute. Let's see what. Hello.
Okay, let's listen in on this.
Yes, who's this?
This has to be a deal coming up here. Mike is on the telephone for those of you listening on the audio podcast.
Yeah, I'll call you right back, okay?
Okay. Can't be his bookie because he would never tell him.
I'm great, thanks. I went to the dentist yesterday. Okay.
Uh-oh.
So I had a tooth pulled because it was an old cap, and there was some old root canal in there. Yeah. So I went over by Mount Prospect over by there, and I had the guy take care of me, man. Outstanding, Dr. Spinazzi. Ooh.
Spinazzi, my goodness.
We'll give you plenty of, when they numb the tooth and say you're not going to feel a thing except the one shot out of the 5 they gave me. You felt that one a little bit, but tremendous job by Dr. Spinazzi.
Hey, Mike, before we went live, I told you that I had a mouse in the house, and you had some advice for me.
I thought it was like Stacey King talks about, about the guards that go inside, but you have well, here. I had I had a guy come out the other day and looking at the landscape and stuff like that. And he says, what's all this bird seed here? Well, during one of our windy nights, the bird seed from one of our 4 feeders got knocked over, and there was bird seed all over because it's filled. He goes, let me tell you something. That can attract rodents. I go, yeah? He goes, huh. They'll go inside your house. I go, let me ask you a question, because maybe I'm not all there or something. I said, if the food's outside, why would they go inside? The guy's still out there standing from 2 days ago trying to figure out an answer. I mean, if you want a steak and there's 10 outside, okay, yes, on a table, and you don't go get that one steak inside, you might get, hurt. Shot. Who knows? Right.
Exactly.
And he's still outside. I just checked. It's been 2 days. He's still trying to figure out why.
They probably want.
I know what he was talking about. You don't want him around the house.
Yeah, but they probably want to go inside the house and get like a fork and some
just like the Bears didn't want Trubisky around the house.
One last sports question I got for you, because I don't know when the next time
I could go all night long with you, like Lionel Richie, my friend.
I know, and but unfortunately, I got an exterminator showing up here in a couple minutes. The Chicago Bulls. What's going to happen? Are they going to make? They
lost last night to Sacramento. They were 4-point underdogs. I think they're going to win the first round. I think what I'd like to see him do, I don't think they'll ever get him. He had 60 points last night. I was not a big fan until the 3-point contest. And then, they got rid of Mike Love. Not Mike Love from the Beach Boys. I'm talking about Kevin Love and other guys on that team. And Karl Anthony Towns, what an addition he'd be, but because he can play it like a 4 if he wanted with Luke. But I think they got enough to get past the first round. But you know what? If they get all their guys together, they could win the East. They could beat Miami, but Miami seems to be well coached. But Billy Donovan, I think the Bulls have done a tremendous job. I think the coach of the year should be the Cleveland coach, and not Monty Ellis from Phoenix, folks, because the over/under for them is 51. They're not. I don't even think they've passed that yet. You know what the over/under for the Cavs was? Like 21 or 22.
Wow,
they got like a 30-some wins. They passed that 35. They passed that a month ago. It's Bickerstaff from Cleveland. That's who should be your coach of the year, but he'll never get it. But Phoenix is supposed to be good. Was Cleveland supposed to be good? No. And I think Billy Donovan. Bulls don't match you up well in the East. They're so negative. Why can't you be positive like I am?
Tareen wants to know if you have any thoughts on Virginia McCaskey's alleged health problems.
I hope she's okay. She's 99. That's a good run if she's not. But I'll tell you this. She's an owner of a team that when you think of her, you'll think of her as a somebody who gave to plenty of charities, somebody who was the owner of the Chicago Bears. But you got to look at it professionally. They're not the best franchise. And, she grew up old school, although I don't know if this is going to make any sense.
Okay.
But she's the head of the Chicago Bears. Yet most of her appointees have been men. In fact, all of them, okay? But you got to remember, folks, her father was George Halas. She grew up, and Eldo will tell you this, my mom will in a man's world where, the National Football League, and she knows how much certain people know. But if somebody told me tomorrow, I never thought I'd say this, and I know the Bears may have an officer that's a woman up there or not.
Yeah.
That a woman was going to be GM, I'd say, why not now? After everybody we've had, I'd say, why not? I don't care. Because you know what? They can watch film. They can read. They're smart. Now, that may not be conducive to a lot of people out there, believe me. Okay? But if this doesn't work out, I'd have no problem with that because I've had enough with the guys that don't know.
Wow, that's awesome. See, Don Burr, he does like change.
Yeah, how about that, Don? That's Don. And I'll tell you this. I have full faith, like Jen Patterson, she was a producer of mine,
Oh, yeah, and, a great producer, right?
Great producer. I was always somebody who promoted within minorities and everybody else from our shows. So you know, the proof's in the pudding. I mean, there was a baseball organization, I'm not going to say anything of who they are, that had Black Lives Matter shirts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 8 white guys walked out. They had nobody in the front office that was black. Okay, so you got to be real too. So that was a couple years ago. So things change maybe, but then yet things stay the same.
There you go. All right, Mike North.
You don't know what to do. I turned into Bobby Kennedy.
What do you mean by that? Oh.
Without the accent. I was gangster today. I got my Whitey Bulger haircut today.
You do.
I know.
You do look like Bulger.
Hey, listen, whether you like gangsters or not, the top guys, they're no different than corporate heads. I mean, they were good at their job, period.
Yeah. Mike, it's been always fun getting together for this. What is it? 15
Get rid of
minutes?
that mouse, Aldo. I don't like him. Tell him I'm coming after him.
Yeah, well,
Where's Toodles? Where's your dog?
He's my dog. Oh my gosh. My dog sees a mouse and he runs into the cage and locks it with his paws.
Me too. I'm in the cage with Lotto. Love you, buddy.
I love you too. Tonight, Dan and Aldo bear their souls.
Yeah, I love Dan and Aldo. Say hi to that rascal.
I will.
Hey,
goodbye.
does he want McMahon on the show?
Oh yes, he would love Oh my gosh, he would.
Because he's a big fan, right?
He has like 10 of his jerseys.
I got this number. I'll give it to you.
All right, you're the man. Thank you, Mike, and thank you everybody for watching live.
Jesus.